In this video, we're going to be taking a look at arguably the biggest change Deca has made to the core game mechanics since the Exalt client was first introduced, the release of Vital Combat. The primary goal of Vital Combat was to prevent players with divine pets from being able to just tank everything and heal through it, instead encouraging them to actually dodge. What a crazy concept for a bullet hell game, huh? Vital Combat was also designed to help make the game a little more fast-paced for new players, and to give a little more value to the defense and vitality stats. That said, life is still the most important stat for survivability. Now that we've got some background out of the way, let's talk about what Vital Combat actually does. So with Vital Combat, players are now always in one of two states, either in combat or out of combat. When out of combat, pets are the same as they've always been since abilities were first added, with a max divine restoring 90 HP and 45 MP every second. In addition, the regeneration effect of Vitality and Wisdom is doubled, which helps players with no pets or low-level pets to restore HP and MP quicker than before, instead of having to sit and wait for a long time. When in combat, the regen from Vit and Wiz is the same as before the update. The main difference is that player's pet has an additional 2-second interval between their pet's heal and M-heal. This means that while in combat, a max divine pet restores 90 HP and 45 MP every 3 seconds instead of every 1 second, effectively healing 1/3 as much as before the update. It's always an additional 2 seconds regardless of pet level, so lower level pets aren't nerfed as hard, since they had a longer interval between heals anyway. For example, a max rare will heal every 4 seconds instead of every 2 seconds while in combat, healing half as much as pre-update instead of the 1/3 that a max divine has. So now, let's talk about what causes a player to go from out of combat to in combat and vice versa. A player enters in combat when they take damage over a certain threshold, called the combat trigger. The value of your combat trigger depends on your defense stat. The formula is a little complicated, so here's a table showing the combat trigger at various defense values. If you want to know the actual exact formula used, check out the RotMG page on Vital Combat, linked in the description. Once you are in combat, a timer will start counting down for when you will be back out of combat. If you take damage over your combat trigger again, it will reset the timer. The duration of the timer depends on your vitality stat. If you have 0 vitality, the timer would be 7 seconds. It's then reduced by 0.05 seconds for each vitality, or 1 second per 20 vitality. So, for example, if you had 60 vitality, that would reduce your timer by 3 seconds, making it 4 total. There are also exaltations that can reduce your in-combat time by up to 1 second, but no matter how much vitality you have, your timer will always be at least 1 second, so you can't avoid going into in-combat entirely. The update had quite a bit of backlash initially, primarily from players who paid a lot of money to feed their pets, as the update was effectively a pet nerf. Ultimately though, I think Vital Combat made Realm a better game for players of all skill levels. Divine and even legendary pets are still overpowered and provide a good value to those who did pay money for them, they just aren't quite as ridiculously overpowered as they used to be.